What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I am going to be doing my NFC predictions for the 2023 NFL season. In the previous video, I did my AFC predictions, and I was unfortunately unable to get playoffpredictors.com to work. So I am using a different template to display my NFC predictions, which is all right. It's not going to be as, I would say, cool and put together, but it is still a very well displayed, accurate representation of what I think for the NFC predictions. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's jump straight into it with the stand-ins. And this is what I got. We got the first seven teams that I think will make the playoffs, and then we got the remaining eliminated teams that will not be making the playoffs. And I think the NFC was really tough. I don't think it was as tough as the AFC, but a lot of really good teams in this conference. And I don't think it's as deep with talent, but there are a lot of teams that I think that could make the playoffs that just aren't gonna with the NFC. Started it off with the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're just overall the most put together team in the NFC. I think with the amount of talent they have on offense, with Dak Prescott and an incredible offensive line, and Tony Pollard and Brandon Cooks and CD Lamb, and I just Dalton Schultz, and I just think that with all that talent on offense, while having, I believe, the best defense in the league, you can't go wrong with having Dallas as your number one seed. Sometimes they choke, but they, in my book, are the most talented team. Then we have the San Francisco 49ers. They could have went to the Super Bowl last year, but they fell short after an injury collapse against the Eagles. I think the 49ers, similar to the Cowboys, are really, really good, deep team, a really talented defense with a fantastic offense, a lot of playmakers spread across the offense. Debo Samuel, it comes to mind, George Kittle, Brock Purdy. They got some deep running back room. And then on defense, there's just too many players to name. And I just think they have a good coaching staff, so they definitely could get that number one seed. So those two teams are interchangeable. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings, a solid team. Kevin O'Connell's really helped them out um, the past season, and I think their division is going to be very weak this season, and they shouldn't have a problem getting the number one seed in their division and number three overall. And then the four, the NFC South winner, the New Orleans Saints. This one was really tough because I was debating with the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers because you can go back and forth. Carolina has coaching, but I think what goes ahead of Frank Reich, who's a great coach, but the New Orleans Saints have a quarterback that we know will perform at a high level in Derek Carr. They brought Derek Carr in to hopefully do some good work at the quarterback position, hopefully do something to replace Drew Brees. And I just think Derek Carr, we've seen the past many seasons to do a lot of good things. He's brought a very mediocre team to the playoffs. He's put up many passing yards in a season, 4,000 yards consistently. He's not an amazing playmaker, as in throwing 40 touchdowns, 50 touchdowns a year, but he gets the job done, and he wins games for pretty bad teams. And I think, again, he can do that with the Saints. He has a good offense around him, Alvin Kamara, a solid offensive line. So Michael Thomas, Chris Olave. And then the Saints defense, sometimes it disappoints, but we know they have talent and they perform a lot. So that's my reasoning behind putting the Saints as the 4 seed. Seattle, again, surprised us last year. They didn't really change it up at all. I think that in a weaker NFC, they can repeat. And then the reigning Super Bowl runner-ups, the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, they lost some talent. Yeah, they're not going to be as good as last year. Yeah, they did lose the Super Bowl. but it's still a great team. They have Jalen Hurts on that big contract. They have Nick Sirianni as a great coach. They have still a lot of pieces around Jalen Hurts, and it's a weak NFC. They will be a playoff team. And at the 7th seed, I'm having the Detroit Lions. Finally, the playoff drought will be ended. But the Detroit Lions, I have a feeling this season. It's finally their chance, as a lot of teams are going to disappoint this year. And I just think they got a lot of talent. Dan Campbell, I think, will have to go if he does not serve a good team this year. But Jared Goff's a respectable quarterback. They have DeAndre Swift and Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown at the receiver position, and they have a well-rounded defense. So I think for that reason, Detroit sneaks in at the 7th seed. And I had a really hard time with New York and Carolina, of course, but specifically New York, because I was debating whether New York or Detroit will make the playoffs. But I just think with all the tension going on with the Giants, with Saquon Barkley, and even though they did get Darren Waller, I just think I have a good feeling that Detroit is going to be able to get it done this season. New York, another good team. The Giants, I think they can. I very much could see them sneaking into the 7th spot, maybe even the 6th seed. But I think in a competitive division with Philly and Dallas, they're going to drop some games, and I think Detroit sneaks in. Chicago and Atlanta in a similar boat. Chicago, it really just, they're rebuilding, but they're getting better really fast. You can tell Justin Fields has some help with DJ Moore. They have picks in the future, but they just got to build that defense back up to around 2017 level. But I think they'll be in playoff contention very soon. Atlanta, another team, you could debate them putting them in the 4 seed. I just don't see it. I think New Orleans and Carolina are better. Green Bay, they lost Devontae last offseason. They lost Aaron Rodgers this offseason. Still a really well-rounded team. It's just I'm unsure about Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love and their connection. And I think if you have a quarterback that can't produce points and a defense that's really not that good, like it gets the job done sometimes, but if you don't have a top tier defense while having an unknown quarterback, I can't put you higher than a 7-8 win team. But I think Green Bay, if Jordan Love works out, we could be seeing them in the playoffs again. Washington, the Commanders, just a really mediocre team. They never seem to do anything out of what we would think. I think they're going to just be rebuilding for the future. I think if they drop some more games down to 4 wins, they could be in the run-in for Caleb Williams. But I just don't see Washington doing much this season. The Bucks, they lost Tom Brady, of course. They still have talent. The quarterback situation is a disaster with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. Todd Bowles, I don't think is a good head coach at all. And if you were only winning 8-9 games with Tom Brady, I don't know how you win more than 6 with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. And then the Rams and the Cardinals, the two worst teams of the NFC West. The Rams they need to recover for their financial situation, and I just think they're paying guys too much money. They have a ton of talent. Some players that are incredible, but the depth isn't there. Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, all amazing players, but the depth isn't there. And then the Cardinals really just rebuilding. Kyler Murray is injured to start the season. They don't really have a defense, and the offense is questionable without DeAndre Hopkins. But that is my NFC predictions for the season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm super excited for the NFL season, and I hope I can get as much as this right as possible. But thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.